Quick video on typhon and how you can do your charting in here. This is the one that you're going to use. So when you click login, it's the student. They assign you, it's probably the same for you at UND. And then you'll have the video on how to set your user login, your password and all that. They have to give you that access through UND before you can even get that. When you log in here, the place that you are getting, let me see if I can remember. I think it's under modify your account information. You're making sure your influenza's uploaded. Here's where you upload all of your fall preceptor agreements, your nursing license. So, and then it will show like this if it's uploaded. Apparently, the preceptors things have gone down. Oh, here we go. This will help show you what it looks like. I don't know if I had to compile all of these into one PDF. Let me see. Yes. So you have to figure out how to get all your PDFs into one. You use that a lot for these things. Okay, so let me go back to where I was. All right. You can change your photo, you can do all your information, but really, truly, nobody cares about all that. All right, so let me show you under my time logs here. This is where you see all, it goes backwards. So the ones that are locked are from my fall. And here's my hours of the shift, tells you the date and time, and then here's your total shift time right down here at the bottom. So ours was shortened to 500 hours. Yours likely will be too with COVID, as long as it's a problem. Now what you can do up here is you can change your date range and you can print by just one preceptor. So when you need them to sign yours, you can go to the clinical site is what I would do. And then the preceptor, you would find that person and then you would do it by dates once you get to your second semester, because otherwise it pulls in all the first semester dates as well. So there's that. I'm not going to take your time to do that, and you just apply filter right here. So then you can show the data as hours or whatnot. Looks like this is cutting off a little bit. There we go. Okay, so the pending, and then down here you see the approved hours. So my hours for spring still haven't even been approved, but that's okay, I graduated. All right, now if you're going to add in a new case information, eventually what you can do too is you're going to be able to, I still need to download this, so your case log totals. So you can see all the pretty graphs that they have and the age range and the type of patients, the gender, whatnot here, ages somewhere, all of that. So this is not created for a Psych NP, as you're going to see here. So I'm going to, instead of adding a new case, I'll click on that real quick. So you would enter the date that you were there. You would go in and you have to enter your preceptor, your clinical site, the age of the patient, gender, race, all the things that are red you absolutely have to do, otherwise it like blocks you. Chief complaint, you can change this one up. It doesn't have to be fancy. Type of H&P. These things I didn't fuss with too much. Nobody cared about what it was. I usually used expanded problem focused, or comprehensive, but I don't think it matters that much. Social problems addressed, I usually checked a couple just to keep, because you're doing so much of this. I usually did something with emotional, interpersonal relationships and safety, especially if SI was involved. And then here you need your ICD things. So you can search for these. So if you're going in here, you would say suicidal. Okay. And then when you search, it will give you the most common here, and you can search with just the most common. But what you'll find out, let's do suicide. I think this brings up a ton more things. Okay, so what you see here is you can have intentional self-harm, you can have all these other different things. I starred the ones that I use the most, and then I also kept them in the notes feature, and so I would just copy paste the most common ones. You can learn your billing codes by doing all this, but I tended to just do the most common. So, and you can validate codes, but half of mine didn't always validate and nobody cared. So then you go down here, how many over-the-counter drugs are they taking, how many prescriptions, how many refilled this visit. Nobody cares about all those things. I know some people would leave them blank. I just filled them in generally. Sometimes I skipped them. Adherence issues with medication, I often just use the same things over and over again, unless there was like a specific thing. Psychiatric diagnosis is what I would use most of the time. Forgetfulness, maybe. Then here's where your psychiatric is, and you have, these are your choices for the kind of medication that it might be. So I oftentimes was choosing miscellaneous psychiatric medication choices. Then down here is where you copy and paste your clinical notes. So let me go ahead and show you real quick what one of my clinical notes would have looked like. All right. So you can see here, this is the one that I had just done. So I'm going to have to delete this. When you come over here, you can see hovering on this helps you to see a little glimpse of your HPI and clinical notes. Here's where you edit it. So I'm just going to click on this one so you can see, and then I'll show you how it is when I go to edit it. So here I didn't do my medications because I got to the end and nobody cared and I didn't care. What you do want to make sure of is that your time with the patient, so with the ANCC, you have to be sure that you're getting all the required amount of hours, and most of the time it's your patient, in contact with patient hours that matters the most. So your 550 hours should be patient time with patient. So, you know, this time I would make it always fit what I needed to do there. Consult with your preceptor. So then, which counts, but you have to have a certain amount with the patient too, if that makes sense. Okay, so here's where you go to edit. This is what it looks like if you're going into edit. So you can see that I have all the information in here. And you can see that, like down here, these procedural skills, none of these apply to us. Nothing. Nothing applies to psych. Dermatology skills, women's health skills. So you just make it work for you, because it's just what you need to graduate and then practice on your own. Now, one other trick that I used a lot. So I'm going to go to this one that I was doing here. Oops, let me edit it. Okay. So what I would do is I would go in here and I would fill all this out, and then I would save this case and copy link data into new encounter. If you do it on this, start a new case on the same day, you know what, let me just go to one of my old ones and show you the difference, because it gets rid of most of your information. So if, let's say, most of your patients are a similar kind of thing, you're going to see here. So if I take this and I copy link data into new encounter, you will see, so I'll make it today, continue. So this preserves for me my preceptor, clinical site, the age, you just got to make sure you change these things, referral, I mean, I just oftentimes said allied health because some of these things are, nobody cares about. So it's about getting to the point of what you need it to be. So you can see all of my linked cases here. And this is simply because I would copy this, and so then they're linking. Okay, it doesn't transfer over your social problems and other stuff, but it does transfer over your ICD codes and your billing codes. So then I would just tweak those as needed. All right, so let's save this case and then start a new case on the same day. When you go to that, It only maintains your preceptor information. So it doesn't copy over, like, let's say your chief complaint is similar, you're just going to edit it, reason for visit similar. It doesn't copy forward your CPT billing codes. So you are doing, so now you can see here I'm missing information for those 3 cases that I added, and then I'm missing, so you also have to, when you do those cases, you also have to go to your time log and make sure that so you have to create that day here. So then all these days were created. And I oftentimes would wait till the end to create my day log, because when you go to do this, what you can do is you can display the patient consult information. I should go to one that you can see. So then I can make sure that my patient time is accurate. My total allocated time is equal to the amount of hours. So you can see, let me show you one where I had actually more hours. So here, 480, and I believe that's 8 hours. So then here you can see that my patient time is 450, and then I've got the preceptor consult time. So my total allocated time is more than that, but then I'm getting credit for the 480. So I'm surpassing whatever the AACN, whatever their name is, wants. Okay, so then if you need to delete something like this, so then you're gonna go back. You can't see me going back here, but I'm hitting the back button. All right, here's the go to main menu. Let me just slide this over so you can see it. Back. So this missing information, this should delete the time log thing. So I'm going to have to go to each one of these things, and I have to delete, okay, let me slide this over, delete this case log. All right, yes, delete this record. So at least it gives you a warning a couple of times before you actually delete something that you don't intend to. You do not want to lose any of this information when you've entered it in. It takes a lot of time, and I highly suggest, let me show you what I would do here. Yes, delete this record. Okay. So when you're getting to know people, some people, when your preceptors are moving fast or slow, sometimes you have access to the computer, sometimes you didn't. I learned the second semester how to make sure I had access to a computer, and let me quickly tell you what I did for that. Okay. So, time logs. All right, let's go to the beginning. So when I was starting, I didn't have a computer. I didn't have access to Typhon until like the end of September, because once they have to upload, not only do you have to upload your document with their signature, but they have to verify it and then put that person in. Now you can get around that. Let's say they don't do that, because I finally figured out how to do that. So you would go to add a new case. This is going to be longer than I wanted it to be. So you would go to preceptor, you would just leave this blank. It says select one at the very top, which is what it would be if you couldn't find yours. Or the other thing that I figured to do, and what it does then is now you have this red here, right here. And so it's going to flag it all the time. So what I did that because I didn't want to forget to do that. But what you could do is you could put a different name there, but you would have to remember to go back in and change that, because then it's not going to come up properly and save all that information. All right. So let's see if it will let me cancel this. No, missing information. So I got to go back and I got to delete this whole thing again. But let me just show you then what I got smart. And I think it took me till, okay, so then with Dr. Berg Patel, what I did is I had to write all of my notes down. I didn't have access to the computer. I didn't bring a computer because I still didn't have one. So I wrote all my notes down, and I had to retranscribe those, which took a lot of time. I just highly encourage you to bring a small computer, make it a small one. You can get them real cheap for less than $300, and then take notes. Your things don't have to be perfect. Let me see if I can find you some of these at the beginning too. Oh wait, maybe I can hit, no. All right, then I finally, and I did the same thing with Dr. Stein as well. I wrote all my notes down. Then with Dr. Huff, I realized she did, she did consults at Unity, and so I finally realized that I could copy and paste that full note into Google Docs because I didn't want to take the time to open up Typhon and go through it all. So I went into Google Docs, I transferred all that information, and then I was easily able to, of course, take all the identifying information and then easily transfer all that information to Typhon at the end of the day. And so then by the second semester, I did not, rarely did I go like another, like overnight without getting all that information in. For sure, by the next day, I had to try to get it in unless I was like working or busy. Then what I ended up doing with Dr. Good is I took a small computer with me, and then I also was able to get access to her small charting system that she uses, and then I was able to figure out how to copy that information. And same thing with Dr. Stein, I was able to get information and log into the computer and see the patients that way. So you really have to make sure that you're trying to be as creative and save yourself the time so that you're able to spend the time on learning things. What was the other thing I was going to show you? Yeah, let me show you my sketchy notes on with Dr. Berg Patel when I was writing them all in. So look at this. I've got 15 pages of dates here. So also people say you should download all this information, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet because it's going to take multiple downloads. It only allows you to download like 15 episodes at a time, so that's maybe 2 days. So that's going to be, I don't know, it just seems like a headache. So let's see here. Let's see, one of these is probably, can I just click here? All right. So this is me typing in information. All right, so here you go. So these were all approved. You can see the minimal information that I have put in here. And here's my ICD codes, my CPT codes, and whatnot. So I do know that there were some people who only did like 4 patients entering information a day. And I was trying to do like 8 a day at the beginning because, you know, they'd probably see like 12, 10, 12. So then what I did this last semester is I just made it like about 5. I liked having 5 patients' information in there, not only for the learning opportunity, but I guess that's my type A right there. So anyways, hopefully this helps you kind of see what it can all look like and learn from me so that way you don't have as many issues dealing with typhon like I did. All right.